The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
This is Fitzy and Whipper.
We are a long way from home at the moment.
Live from Los Angeles. Figure Day USA. Thanks to our friends at Stan, bringing Hollywood home to Australia.
Last night we were so lucky, got an invitation to Curtis Stone's restaurant, Gwen. Because he's got Maud and he's got Gwen. Would it name after both grandmothers?
I think so.
Yes. He's just such a talented man.
It was unbelievable. Amazing food.
Oh, just brilliant
Killed
food.
it.
His team love him. His hospitality was amazing, and this is the chat that we had with Curtis.
Do you know what? I get a bit emotional. When you come to LA and you come to Hollywood, and there's a local that's made it over here, there's a fair sense of pride, isn't there?
Talking about Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
He's in New York.
Sam
different.
Worthington, welcome to the show. No, it's not. Curtis Stone, we know. We first were introduced to Curtis surfing the menu, weren't we? Mm-hmm. And now that he's over here and dominating in LA, thank you so much for having us, mate.
Oh, mate, my pleasure. Nice to see you.
And we're in your environment for once. You're always coming to our environment.
That's right. For a change, you've got to do what I say.
Curtis, we've just had dinner at Gwen, your restaurant here. Mm-hmm. We're upstairs in the office right now, but downstairs in the restaurant we just indulged for a solid 3 hours.
Whipper's belt is doing overtime.
Can I just say right now, in the 43 years I've had on this planet, I've never been this heavy. And I've got you to thank after tonight's
you're
meal.
welcome.
Do you know, Whipper
It's
actually
beautiful.
said to me 10 minutes ago, if I die in my bed tonight, could you tell my wife that I was really happy? I said, no worries, Whip.
Mate, this place is a special place.
What do you mean, Whipper? We're getting up and going to Fortune Gym first thing in the morning, mate. I've told him you're in town.
No, but it is called Gwen. Your other restaurant's called Maud. So what does Gwen mean to you? And when we eat here tonight, where is Gwen involved in this?
Well, Gwen was my granny, my mum's mum. She came from Wood End. She lived on a farm. And my mum tells these stories of coming home and there was a lamb hanging off the oak tree. And she's like, Mum, my nan would be like, Ernie, what's for dinner? And he'd be like, oh, what do you want? And she'd say, chops. And he'd go out and he'd come back with some chops.
No way!
And they had a fire that would sort of heat the house and they would cook on inside as well. So, all of this nostalgia that I grew up, going to visit them in Wood End. And when my brother and I decided to open this restaurant, we wanted a butcher shop. And then we sort of thought about Nan and thought about her experience and that natural sort of way of living and the fires and whatever. So we did it and we named it Gwen. And the very first night we started the fires and we came upstairs and we were talking about something. And then we walked back down and as soon as you opened the door, that smell of the fires, I was like, oh my God, it's just like Nan's.
Bit of home.
So it's a special thing naming a restaurant after someone you love because you just have these fond memories every time you say the name. It's cool.
Like, it's the detail which you've nailed. I don't want this interview to sound like something for the ABC or something for print. But there's just fine detail in everything you've done.
Oh, thanks, mate.
And I recognise
you
that.
want shares in it and you're not...
Yeah, here we go.
You are not...
He hit on Evan Spiegel earlier in the week. Sorry, Curtis. He's all expensed out.
He cornered Evan Spiegel. Said, can I have some shares in Snapchat?
Did he give you any?
Absolutely. He gave me a couple of hundred, but that was completely different.
Can I try to extract, even though you're in Hollywood and you've been here for a while, can I try to extract the Aussie boy out of here? And these, can I give you a quick fire 7 questions that I just wrote at the table?
Yes.
Number 1, this isn't a magnificent place, but my first question was lock-ins with mates back home. So have you had your mates come over and eaten in the restaurant and said, Curtis, can we stick around and have a few extra drinks?
Do you know, I just was with a mate and we were drinking a couple of beers at the bar.
Yeah.
And he said, this is incredible, having your own place. And I said, do you know the funny thing? When you're a kid and you grow up in this industry, you always dream of having your own place because you think that you'll still be 25 and you'll stay up until, 7 o'clock in the morning with the doors locked drinking. I've never done it.
Oh,
I've literally not done it once, which is pathetic.
And you said, Dustin Fletcher, get out of here.
You've lost your Australian mate.
Let's do it tonight.
Number two, we've seen Matt Moran's wine cellar. So when you own a restaurant, your wine cellar is unbelievable. Is yours unbelievable?
It's better than Matt's.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Okay, number 3, just give us one night, and I know you don't like talking about this, but you just got to give us one name where you joined a celeb at the table at the end of the night because they said, Curtis, come and sit with us because we just had an amazing meal.
James Corden and Adele.
Did he yell at you? Did James Corden tell you off over an omelette?
James Corden has always been a gentleman in our restaurant.
Yeah, we like him.
So did they say come and sit down and say hello? Did you introduce? Oh, awesome!
How was Adele?
Awesome.
Isn't it amazing that her singing voice is so different to her talking voice?
That's very true.
Is this a lovely meal, eh?
That's not how she sounds.
I don't like flying.
Question number 4. Why do all chefs wear Crocs?
Because they're good for your back.
Right.
And you're
Are
on
they
your
really?
feet all day long.
And last question. Biggest blow-up that you've ever had from a head chef?
There's a photo of you and Marco Pierre White on the wall.
Yes.
Just
Marco and
here. Did Marco ever? Did you ever see him at full steam?
I sure have.
Have you really?
God, yeah.
Was he the biggest blow-up, or is there someone else?
Actually, a guy named Charlie Rushton, who worked for Marco, he was the head chef at the Mirabelle when I went there.
Yeah. What happened?
And he lost it, like radioactive. You just he was just throwing things left and right.
And you just have to say yes, chef, the whole
froth
time?
coming out the corner of his mouth. Well, I was on the pass with him, so it was me and him dressing the plates and everyone else giving us the stuff. This is God. This is no God. This is God. He was just going bananas. And then the phone rang, and no one should call a restaurant in the middle of service, right? The phone rang, and he picked it up and he went. And then he slammed the phone back down. I was just like, Charlie, I know that you're listening somewhere and I love you, and it was one of the most epic meltdowns I've ever experienced.
Curtis, we're in your office. What's this trophy for? Hang on.
It's actually not a flattering one,
Is this going to be something?
Jim Beam, block, bourbon and bowling, lowest team score. You lost on the day.
We came last.
How are you feeling about home now at the moment? Where are you at?
I knew you were going to bring it up.
Here. I know we ask this every time.
I know, you do.
It's hard, isn't it? Would you
come.
start a restaurant in Australia if you ever got an opportunity?
I would if I moved back.
Yes.
Because Aussies deserve great food, and they have a keen eye for quality. So I wouldn't want to open a restaurant in Australia unless I was there cooking.
Mate, thank you so much for having us. We've had such a good time, and it is, like we said, we always get you over on our show in the studio or on the phone, but it's good to be here in your environment, and we loved it.
It's so good to see you guys.
Thank you,
buddy.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Whipper podcast.